I have to say, it's great to be here, and I've got a bunch, as I introduced, talking about how great LA is. I'm a little loath to say that part of the speech, because given that the mayor offered the deal for us to move our headquarters here, people may read more into that than I'm prepared to address at this time. But anyway, it is to be honest, if you're in our business, it's always a pleasure to come to California for some of the reasons we've already talked about today, and particularly the LA show, and particularly this year. And for me to have the chance to kick off this important event, thanks to the Motor Press Guild and all of you for giving me the opportunity. And I do want to congratulate the LA show for reaching its 100th anniversary. That's a heck of a milestone. California is such an important part of our world. People look to see what's new in technology and design. The fact that the LA show has been doing this longer than just about anybody. The fact that, as the mayor commented, this show, I think, has really arrived this year as one of the industry's top international shows. That really makes it, I think, special for all of us in the business and all of you who work to make it a success year after year. So the whole team from GM extends our congratulations to the LA Auto Show and all the leaders on a great first century, and we know what's going to be a great run in the years to come. Speaking of 100 years ago, it's interesting to note back in 1907, there were three major technologies competing to power the automobile: electricity, steam, and of course gasoline. Each one of these had its champions, and it wasn't at all clear back then which technology would eventually dominate. In 1906, for example, the Stanley rocket, built by the brothers who created the very successful Stanley steamer, set a new land speed record, 127 miles per hour. And of course, electrically driven vehicles had their proponents too, most notably Thomas Edison, who believed that electricity was the best option for driving automobiles. In fact, he spent years improving battery technology, specifically focused on use in electric cars. Well, today it looks like Edison might actually have had a great idea, maybe just a little further ahead of his time than usual. More on that in a minute. Today, as I said, the auto industry is much different from the way it was 100 years ago. In fact, it's much different from the way it was 5 years ago. Since 2001, a series of geopolitical, natural, and economic realities, from extraordinary economic growth in places like China and India, to regional conflicts in the Middle East, to population growth, global climate change, and natural disasters in the Gulf of Mexico, all those have combined to drive home the fact that we face an increasingly uncertain energy future on a global basis. All this has created serious concerns about energy supply, energy availability, sustainable growth, the environment, even national security, issues that collectively have come to be called energy security. A few statistics. Today, 35% of the world's energy needs are met with petroleum products. China imports about 46% of the petroleum it uses. The U.S. imports about 64%. The European Union about 79%. And Japan imports virtually 100%. And according to the Department of Energy, from 2003 to 2030, worldwide energy demand will grow by an average of about 2% a year. In other words, we'll need 70% more energy in 2030 than we did in 2003. My conclusion from these figures: going forward, it is highly unlikely that oil alone is going to supply all the world's rapidly growing automotive energy requirements. For the global auto industry, this means that we must, as a business necessity, develop alternative sources of propulsion based on alternative sources of energy in order to meet the world's growing demand for our products. Now, this is a huge assignment, but it's also an extraordinary opportunity. By developing alternative sources of energy and propulsion, we have the chance to mitigate many of the issues surrounding energy availability. We'll be better able to cope with future increases in energy demand. We'll minimize the automobile's impact on the environment. We'll be able to take full advantage of the incredible growth opportunity for cars and trucks around the globe. We'll take a lot of risk out of our business and likely improve the profitability of the industry.